Part of our journey abroad was to understand progress and its cost. Progress is defined in most dictionaries as the process of improving or developing something over a period of time. But what does it actually mean to improve something? What may be viewed as progress to an economist could be seen as a detriment to a conservationist. No two countries better exemplify this contrast than Australia and New Zealand. From my tourist perspective, I expected Australia to be a relatively stable country. The people are friendly, welcoming, and Australia is rarely in the news for corruption, warring factions, or other problems. However, I learned Australia experiences many of the same problems in government and the battle over progress that we do in the United States. The needs of the less fortunate are put aside in favor of money-making projects, as we saw in Sydney, where construction of the casino is planned to replace government housing. We learned through this program that emphasis is often placed on gross domestic product, which is the common measure of progress. But does growth in wealth always mean progress? One of our speakers, Paul O'Dowd, believes the Australian Parliament goes out of its way to quash conservation efforts in favor of a growing economy. If a country has to sacrifice a large part of its heritage to achieve its goals it has set for itself, is it truly making progress? In New Zealand, influential conservationists also differ from economists who believe tourism is the key to growth in the economy. Conservationists who spoke to our group believe too many tourists can lead to pollution and possible introduction of invasive species. In their view, New Zealand is a unique country with beautiful natural resources, and they want to keep it that way. New Zealand is the first country I've ever traveled to where the main attraction is the country itself, not restaurants, shopping malls, or amusement parks. So what did I learn from my trip to New Zealand and Australia? That no country is perfect, and all countries struggle with wealth over the sacrifice of resources. Snorkeling the Great Barrier Reef, swimming with dolphins in Kaikoura, or bungee jumping in Queenstown and hiking the Ben Lomond Trail gave me a new appreciation for being part of my environment. When we dropped out of the clouds to land in Queenstown, the landscape was the most beautiful place I've ever seen. It's no surprise to me, after seeing Milford Sound, that some people call it the eighth wonder of the world. After this trip, I understand both countries have resources worth protecting. This trip opened my eyes to beautiful places to explore and the importance of trying things outside my comfort zone. While I won't likely be a marine biologist, I appreciate what they do to protect the Great Barrier Reef so I can enjoy it. I didn't just travel to Australia and New Zealand, I experienced them. A topic we discussed on this trip was the triple bottom line, which means taking into account people, profit, and planet. People often overlook one of the most important indicators of progress: personal happiness. As Robert Kennedy said in 1968, GDP measures everything in short, except that which makes life worthwhile.